The 105mm M101 howitzer was a howitzer developed and used by the United States. It was the standard U.S.light field howitzer in World War II and saw action in both the European and Pacific theaters. Entering production in 1941, it quickly gained a reputation for accuracy and a powerful punch. The M101A1 fired 105mm high-explosive semi-fixed ammunition and had a range of 11,270 meters, making it suitable for supporting infantry. All of these qualities of the weapon, along with its widespread production, led to its adoption by many countries after the war. Its ammunition type also became the standard for many foreign countries' later models. History. During the Second World War, U.S. artillery regiments consisted of an HQ detachment, one 155mm artillery battalion, and three 105mm artillery battalions. Both the 155mm and 105mm battalions had 12 guns each, divided into 3 batteries of 4 guns, that gave each regiment a total of 12 155mm howitzers and 36 105mm howitzers, with an M1 shell fired at 9,000 meters. The probable error in range was 41 meters, while the probable error in line was 10 meters. The U.S. military artillery designation system was changed in 1962, redesignating the 105mm M2A1 howitzer the M101A1. The gun continued to see service in the Korean and Vietnam Wars. Though of similar model, the M102 howitzer shared the same roles in battle. It never fully replaced the M101A1. Today, the M101A1 has been retired by the U.S. military, though it continues to see service with many other countries. By the end of the Second World War, 8,536 105mm towed howitzers had been built, and post-war production continued at Rock Island Arsenal until 1953, by which time 10,202 had been built. The Canadian Forces continued to use the M2A1 as the C2 howitzer until 1997, when a modification was made to extend its service life. It is now designated the C3. The changes include a longer barrel, a muzzle brake, reinforced trails and the removal of shield flaps. It remains the standard light howitzer of Canadian Forces reserve units. The C3 is used by reserve units in Glacier National Park in British Columbia as a means of avalanche control. In addition, the M101 has found a second use in the U.S. as an avalanche control gun, supervised by the U.S. Forest Service. France and the state of Vietnam used it during the First Indochina War, as did the People's Army of Vietnam, who were supplied with this weapon by China PR along with other captured Kuomintang artillery pieces. Today upgraded M2A1s are still being used by the People's Army of Vietnam. It remains as the primary tactical field howitzer of the VPA. A number of M2, M101 howitzers were used by the Socialist Federal Republic of Yugoslavia, and approximately 50 were inherited by Croatia, of which 4 are still in use for training with the Croatian Army. M2 howitzers are still in limited service in the Australian Army Reserve, but being replaced with 81mm mortars with an emphasis on the retention of indirect fire support skills. In regular service, they were replaced by the 105mm L119 Hamel gun and the 155mm M198 howitzers. 2 M2 howitzers are still employed in providing the gun salute at Christiansen Fortress in Trondheim. time. Norway. M101 M2 is one of 3 approved salute guns in the Norwegian Armed Forces, and have been reduced to a caliber of 75 mm for this purpose. They are used for gun salute also at arena and set airmen. Variants. Gun variants: M1920 prototype, M1925E prototype, T2 prototype, standardized as M1. M2 minor changes to the chamber to allow use of fixed ammunition. M2A1 modified breech ring. M3 lightweight howitzer with barrel shortened by 27 inches. T8 prototype, vehicle-mounted variant with modified breech and with cylindrical recoil surface. M101 post-war designation of M2A1 on carriage. M2A1. M101A1 post-war designation of M2A1 on carriage. M2A2. C3 Canadian C1 with lengthened .33 caliber barrel. Carriage variants: M1920E prototype, split trail. M1921E prototype, box trail. M1925E prototype, box trail. T2, standardized as M1 split trail, wooden wheels. M1A1 M1 carriages rebuilt with new wheels, brakes and other parts. T3 prototype. T4 prototype. T5, standardized as M2 split trail, steel wheels with pneumatic tires. M2A1 electric brakes removed. M2A2 modified shield. XM124 and AMP. XM124E1 light auxiliary propelled howitzer prototype, produced by Sundstrom Aviation Corporation, who added an auxiliary drive system for local maneuverability. The base XM124 provided 220 horsepower air-cooled engines, while the XM124E1 provided a single 20 horsepower engine and electric steering. M2A2 TerraStar auxiliary propelled howitzer prototype. Lockheed Aircraft Service Company added an auxiliary drive system and a TriStar wheel system to the carriage of an M2A2 105 mm light howitzer to provide local maneuverability. The last surviving example is at the Rock Island Arsenal Museum. Self-propelled mounts. Medium tank M4A4E1 M2A1 in mount T70. Medium tank M4, M4A3 M4 in mount M52. Medium heavy tank M45 M4 in mount M71. Experimental mount on Holt tractor M1920. Experimental chassis designed by J. Walter Christie. M1920 105 mm howitzer motor carriage T9. 105 mm howitzer motor carriage T19. M2A1 105 mm howitzer motor carriage T32. M7 M2A1 105 mm howitzer motor carriage T76. M37 M4 in mount M5 105 mm howitzer motor carriage T88. M4 in mount M20. M56 105 mm similar to the M101 made in ex-Yugoslavia and still made in Bosnia. Evo 105 mm howitzer mounted on an armored 5-ton truck system built by Samsung Techwin for the Republic of Korea Army. Vietnamese M101 howitzer mounted on Endural 375 D6x6 truck. Ammunition. The gun fired semi-fixed ammunition with 105 mm cartridge case M14. The propelling charge consisted of a base charge and 6 increments, forming 7 charges from 1 to 7. Use of M1 rounds prepared for the 105mm howitzer M3 was authorized. Heat M67 shell was originally designed as fixed round with cartridge case M14 Type 2. It was later changed to semi-fixed type with the standard cartridge but with non-adjustable propelling charge. For blank ammunition, a shorter cartridge case M15 with black powder charge was used. Operators: Argentina, Australia, Austria, Bahrain, Bangladesh, Belgium, Benin, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Brazil, Burkina Faso, Cameroon, Canada. Designated C3 Canadian C1 with lengthened .33 caliber barrel. Chile, Republic of China, Colombia, Croatia, Dominican Republic, Ecuador, El Salvador, France, Germany, Greece, Guatemala, Honduras, India, Indonesia, Iran, Iraq, Japan, South Korea, Lebanon, Lithuania, Macedonia, Malaysia, Mexico, Morocco, Myanmar, New Zealand, Nicaragua, Norway, Pakistan, Paraguay, Peru, Philippines, Portugal, Rhodesia, Senegal, South Africa, Thailand, Togo, Turkey, United States, Uruguay, Vietnam,